Okay, I know I do a lot of complaining about some of the destruction that Izzy does to her toys, and I decided it was time to share a few of the remains of the toys that I've saved for no particularly good reason, because everything here is pretty much trash at this point. But I'm gonna go through them from what I have here one at a time, and maybe you'll get a gist of what I go through here. All right, this was just a simple rubber ball, which lasted about a minute and a half. She was probably 4 months old. Puppy teeth just gnawed right through it. Boom, done. Uh, Nylabone. Yeah, well, Nylabones are supposed to be somewhat durable. I hope they're somewhat digestible. As you can see, there's a nice chunk here missing. Another Nylabone. This one, the harder type. This one she managed to get both nubs off of. Fortunately, everything passed. It's not like this was done in one shot, but it was done over a period of time with supervision. But again, this was supposed to be for the larger dog, and she got to this before she was 6 months old. One of my favorites would be the Kong, which I know I've displayed before for you. We used to fill it up with peanut butter and put it in the freezer, and this was a good treat for when we went out. And apparently she decided it was a good treat to start eating piece by piece. Really don't know how to describe that damage, but again, luckily everything passed. This ball was a great piece. This ball is a odd-shaped ball, part of a Chuck-It set. Bounce it on any kind of a solid surface. It'll take odd bounces and she'll chase it. The problem is with chasing toys is that she can eventually catch it and then does things like this. At which point it's no longer an odd bouncing ball, but it becomes a reward of prey. Let's see. This here was actually a hand-me-down toy. We originally purchased this for Kaylee. Kaylee liked it when we first brought it home. And that was pretty much the extent of her playing with it. She took it out of the bag. She was excited. She ran through the house with it, but that was it. And then we decided to present this one to Izzy, and no time at all. The heavy-duty stitching aside, we concentrate. We make one little hole and then start pulling squeakers out and stuffing and assorted other things. Moving along, here's another one in the same vein, heavy-duty stitching that's supposed to be pretty indestructible. I would say not very indestructible at all, as you can see. One of my favorites, anytime I've gone into Petco, she would see this spider on the shelf. It was always displayed on the lowest part of the shelf. She would take it off the shelf and run through the store with it. It was kind of like a prize for her, so I finally bought it for her. And upon bringing it home, she proceeded to turn an 8-legged spider into a 7-legged spider into a 6.5-legged spider. But that wasn't really quite good enough. What she really wanted was the thing inside of the spider. The spider had an interesting sound that it would make when you squeezed it, which was this sound. This actually was the sound device inside of the spider, which resembles an artificial heart, if you ask me. Nice little tube, twist-tied into a baggie with some stuffing, but ironically, this still works. But she did forcibly remove that through this little hole. Tennis balls, well, I mean, I've thrown out more than I have in the house now. While it looks like it's a reasonably good condition tennis ball, it actually is not. She just didn't break the skin on this one. Every tennis ball that she puts in her mouth, she just breaks what's on the inside. As you can see here, I could just squeeze it and it's probably in 4 or 5 pieces inside. Another one of the heavy-duty toys here, this elephant. I was hoping to get a good week, 2 weeks, maybe even 3 out of it. The tusk was removed before the tag came off of it. And subsequently, she decided to perform a C-section to see if there was a baby inside. And as you can see, she took care of that as well. Another one of her favorites from Petco was the soccer ball that was also placed on display on the lowest shelf, which meant that every time she walked by, she'd take a grab at it, so I bought her that. The first one that I bought, actually, I purchased, already had a tear in it, but the tags were still attached. So I returned it, and they exchanged it for me with no problem to get home. And about 2 minutes later, she came running toward me with some stuffing in her mouth, because that's what she did to that ball. Okay, moving along. Here's another pretty good, one of the indestructible toys that heavy duty stitching, squeakers all over the place, except obviously where she's removed them. This one, interestingly enough, she gave up on working the scissoring action on the outer casing and just decided to go right to the middle. Another nylabone, but this one we actually still give her. It's the matching one to the one I showed you earlier. It's on its way out, but she doesn't really pay as much attention to this one any longer. This was kind of just an extra one lying around. Another heavy-duty nylabone. Had a nice nub on the end here. Again, had is the operative word. I mean, this is solid stuff. It's sharp now to the touch because of her chewing the little pieces off. No problem to her. Then I went and upgraded to some Kong brand toys, matching the quality of the actual Kong. This was supposed to be what I thought was a heavy-duty toy. Not a cheap one either. And I thought, again, I'm happy if I get a week to 2 weeks out of a toy. Another one of those famous ones that lasted the day I gave it to her. She immediately went to town on scissoring off the legs, as you can see here. Took it away from her, but then she followed us around the house when we took it away from her. So gave it to her, handing her the roped end of it, and she would proceed to rip the individual threading that makes up this heavy knot. And it's a pretty heavy-duty knot. I wouldn't want to get hit with it. Also, she hears me touching her toys. In this hole here was a ball, a squeaker that was, I wouldn't have known what it was until she removed it. And, of course, there it is. Let's see. This might be one of my favorites. Those that know her from PetSmart, or Petco rather, I'm sorry, would know that they have this on display. As soon as you come in the store, she would take it off of the pegboard as soon as she walked into the store. She seemed to have a chewy obsession. So I purchased this one for her. As you can see, the tag is still on. But the foot is not, because as I took it out of the bag, she jumped up, tried to grab it from me, and proceeded to rip the foot open while it was still in my hand from the bag. So this is probably the fastest destroy toy I've given to her. Recently, for her birthday, her friends chipped in and got her a really nice gift. Pretty large one, a heavy-duty one. It's a squirrel. This squirrel is, it's quite heavy, and it's quite large. It was given to her in the store, and she proceeded to, while checking it out, gnaw the ears off, which that was still before we even got home. And then she kind of, she played a little bit here and there with it. Didn't play with it every day. And then one day she was laying on the couch, gave it to her. I'm sitting in the other room, and I hear a popping sound, and I proceed to walk in to find that she decided that she needs to see where the brain of the squirrel is located, so she just decided to tear the seam out, which, right there. And the only thing I could say that we've been really successful with are antlers. Now, I don't have handy with me what a new antler would look like, but I assure you it does not look like this. It would be mostly this brown shade right here. It would come to a rounded point, rounded edge. Usually a flat corner here. What she does here, obviously, she chews the hell out of it. There's probably some nice deep tooth marks in there. She's broken off little pieces off of the top, changing it to a weapon. When she's playing with this and this hits the floor, no matter where you are in the house, you know it's fallen because that thing weighs a couple of pounds. And on the thicker side of it, she just used her tongue essentially to gnaw away to get to the marrow, really tasty marrow in there. She's only gotten about maybe an inch in there. I'm sure, given some time, she can get all the way through. Eventually, this is going to get soft and probably start cracking off, and that'll just give her more of an opportunity to get to more of the marrow inside. But no problem, because I have 3 more just like it. So this is the sampling of the things that I've kept. I can't even begin to tell you the stuff that we couldn't save. Some of them I posted on Facebook previously. They looked like crime scenes. She's destroyed them to the point of being unrecognizable, whatever animals they happen to have been. We've gone through raccoons, we've gone through squirrels, we've gone through hedgehogs. But, we've passed the first 1 year mark. So let's hope that during year 2, she becomes a little less destructive. Or maybe a little kinder to her toys. I guess in a way I'm glad that she takes it out on her toys and not on people or my furniture, my carpeting, my car. Oh, the most important one I actually just left upstairs. I just recently bought her what is a full-size tire. Not a car tire, but it's a miniature car tire. But it's full rubber, treading and everything, has a rope going through it. And she proceeded to take her time with that one. That one, she was starting to chew on the rope and dragging it around the house. And on, I guess it was Friday night, Friday night or Saturday night, she grabbed it, jumped up on the bed with it, and in the 5 minutes that we were watching TV while she was squeaking on the rubber, she proceeded to chew a chunk of the rubber treading right off of this tire. And this is the tire that's made for dogs 50 pounds and over. I've seen people purchase it for Rotties and Pitties and Mastiffs and, dogs much larger than the 60-pound dog I have. So basically what I'm asking for is donations. Don't want to take out a second mortgage on toys for her. There you go.